The state Supreme Court ruling today that Governor Tony Evers' partial veto of a school funding increase stands, allowing an expansion of education money for the next 400 years. The ruling says the state constitution allows the governor to partially veto spending bills by striking words, numbers, and punctuation to create a new meaning or spending amounts. Republican leaders brought a lawsuit against Governor Evers, who used the power in 2023 to increase how much revenue K through 12 public schools can raise per student until the year 24-25. Evers acts language that applied the increase from 2024 through 2025 to make the end date more than 4 centuries from now. Governor Evers issued a statement today after a ruling announced, saying in part, quote, "The decision is great news for Wisconsin kids in our public schools who deserve sustainable, dependable, and spendable state support and investment. For over a decade, the legislature has failed to meet that important obligation. Importantly, this decision does not mean our work is done. Far from it," end quote. Wisconsin GOP Chairman Brian Schimming also releasing a statement on the ruling, saying, quote, "Today's ruling exposes the stark partisanship of the current Wisconsin Supreme Court. By upholding Governor Evers' expansive use of the line item veto, the court has granted him unchecked authority to override the will of Wisconsin voters. The people of Wisconsin will not overlook this far left judicial activism and blatant power grab," end quote.